quick greetings. This month's Positive Open Mic is taking a different tack. Our theme this month is our relationship with time. And I'm going to make a quick confession that I have long had a almost dysfunctional, disconnected sort of relationship with the common constraints of time. I actually felt kind of quite at home in India when I visited there with its more loosely structured expectations around things operating precisely on time, as contrasted with, say, parts of Europe where the trains ran on schedule almost to the minute. People were much more relaxed in India and didn't get flustered if the train was late. In fact, my teacher joked about this one particular occasion when the 9 o'clock train actually rolled in at 9 o'clock, and the newspapers came and wanted to do a story on it because it was a historic event. And then the station master came and said, "Oh, no, don't get too excited. This is yesterday's train, 24 hours late." So usually I don't get it that far off. I think maybe the most I've been off was 12 hours when we planned to leave for a trip at 10 o'clock on the dot. And we pulled out at 10 o'clock, but it was 10 o'clock p.m., not a.m. Anyway, if people are looking for a scapegoat to blame for everything always starting a little bit late, I'll have to come forward and say, it's me, put it on me. I am chronically late for things, and it's not because I don't care. I often feel bad because people are, I'm holding up not just one person, but several people. The principle that if you make one person late 1 minute, you've taken 1 minute from somebody's life. Not that you actually take it away, but you've cost someone 1 minute of wasted time. And if you keep a group of 30 people waiting for 5 minutes, then you've incurred a debt, you could say, of 150 minutes of wasted time. And I don't take that lightly. But back to my own situation. Sometimes I feel a burden of guilt or shame that why can't I get my act together? Because I can see that this is a long-standing dysfunctional pattern that I've dealt with my whole life. I've considered whether doing some professional training or therapy or something that would help me to change some of those patterns might be useful. And I've actually done that a little bit. Enrolled in forget his name right now. David, you might be familiar with it. Getting Things Done. And it did help for a while, but and still, some of those principles I make use of, but some of it takes a lot of work for me to get my act together around time for some reason, a lot of effort, and sometimes it almost feels like I'm a stranger in a strange land. It's like it doesn't come naturally. It's my mind just doesn't relate to some of the it's like it's not that I don't realize that I have to be ready to go in 15 minutes in order to arrive at the other end of the road on time for an appointment or something, but I have a kind of distorted sense of what's possible to fit into that that remaining 15 minutes. And, you know, uh, I'm tempted to start another project and, I've got plenty of time, 15 minutes, it's like I could start cleaning my room. uh, I could, it's like, uh, if I took a step back and said, well, wait a minute, last time you did that, how did it come off? We know how this ends. And yet it just doesn't sink in. It's like my mind just does not get, hard for me to wrap my head around that whole framework. It's like I came from another planet entirely. And so sometimes I've been accused, with some justification, of being a space cadet. Um, and yet I counter, no, my wife is the space cadet. She has some real difficulties finding her way around town, or navigating through space. That's a bona fide space cadet to me. Whereas I've got a photographic memory. If I've been to some place 30 years ago, I can still have a decent shot at finding my way around that same place. Or if I'm not exactly sure where I'm going in a city, but I have a basic idea that in order to get here, I turned right and left, and then, went across over. I have a general sense of topography and can navigate somewhat intuitionally. Just having a general sense of what direction I need to go. I can often get somewhere even if I don't know exactly which roads or turns to make. So I say I'm not a space cadet. I am a time cadet. That is, I've got the badge right on me. It's like, yep, I check all the boxes on being a time cadet. I've never heard that phrase used that way, but what the heck? Language is always evolving. I'll be the first to claim it. Anyway, enough about me. This is just a little personal sharing to kick it off, and we want to hear about your relationship with time. Bring a poem that relates to how you travel in this strange continuum of time, or discontinuum, if that's the way it shows up in your consciousness in your life. What how do you are you the person who's always late or always 5 minutes early? Are you the one who is like, la la la, I can wait all day, no worries? Or like, damn, I've been waiting for almost 10 seconds here. This is unbearable. Do you have your act together? Are you structured? Do you have everything running like German trains? Or are you an Indian time person or Mexican time where mañana is just fine? How does your concept of this shared space, shared structure we cohabit, how do you relate to other people? How do you interface with the rest of the world? How about your loved ones, your family, your spouse, your significant other? Do you have agreements that you've worked out how to make it work so that nobody gets too flustered when someone else doesn't operate on the same timetable? These are kinds of things we could explore, hopefully in a creative, somewhat entertaining way, not a heavy, serious therapy session or dissertation. Maybe, as I say, a poem, a song, painting, sketch, a skit, a puppet show, whatever your creative response to the phenomenon of time is. Or if you find somebody else who's really just nailed it for you, and in their reflection on time, you see a reflection of your own relationship, that would be a wonderful thing to share. All right, I hope to see you. Oh, speaking of time, we have a slight time warp this month. Um, since I was traveling last week and not available for our usual second Wednesday of the month time slot, we've shifted and we're going in an alternate schedule this month, being the third Wednesday of this month, just for this month, um, which is tonight. Speaking of doing things at the last minute, this is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024, CE, whatever that means. And we will see you tonight at 6:30 at the Unitarian Church in Roseburg.